Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am the Maize Man. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button, share this with your friends and family on social media, and abound. And of course, subscribe. Today we are talking not the best weekend for Michigan football, but there are some good things on the horizon, possibly. We'll talk about all of it. And of course,
I'm upset. No disrespect, respectfully. But disrespectfully, it's disrespect. Don't be disrespectful.
those vile, disgusting Spartans, poor little bro, man.
And I'ma tell them why I'm mad.
That vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, the other state, and of course, as always,
I'm upset.
before we get into it, we got to take this time to point and laugh at the other state. They were voted the most toxic fan base in college football. That, ladies and gentlemen, is as about an accurate assessment of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus that you will get. Michigan wasn't free of, some adversity themselves. They were on the top 10 list. They came in at number 10, which is a far cry from number 1. This is one list as a Michigan fan. I'm not going to argue with not being number 1 with or one on, and that is this most toxic fan base list. But again, shout out to those vile, disgusting Buckeyes. We move on. Unless you've been living under a rock, then this weekend wasn't the greatest. Let's just start with all the ways it wasn't the greatest. Those boxing matches that came on Friday and Saturday were complete garbage, but that's for another day and another channel, not for us. We move on to elite running back prospect Javian Osborne choosing the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame over the Michigan Wolverines. Now, for those of us that were in the know, we understood that this was going to happen no matter, how much we would rather it didn't. This was going to be the outcome. There are going to be a lot of people talking about NIL dollars. There's going to be a lot of people talking about his placement on the roster, whichever roster that is. Of course, he chose Notre Dame, so that roster. I'm in that latter camp. I believe that in terms of NIL dollars, that Michigan and Notre Dame are comparable in what they would have offered him. There is the notion out there, though, that Michigan wasn't giving a hard line number, which is one of the factors. I can neither deny nor confirm that. But what I believe played an even bigger role is the path to the starting job. If you look at the roster of Notre Dame at running back, after Love, right, it is a who's who of guys that probably aren't as good as Javian Osborne. So the path to the starting job seems a lot clearer at Notre Dame than when you have to sit behind Jordan Marshall for a couple more years, possibly even Haynes now, a couple more years, possibly Kaipana. They just brought in 2 more running backs out of the transfer portal. And then, of course, my guy that showed out at the spring game, whose name is escaping me right now, but there is a lot of muck, if you will, on that Michigan roster. And I didn't even mention Donovan Johnson nor Jasper Parker, both who are studs in their own right, that are also on the Michigan roster. Jasper Parker hasn't even been, started on campus yet. And Donovan Johnson, coming off an injury that kept him out his senior year, but was an absolute stud before that. and is expected to, have a full recovery. So that path to the starting job at Michigan is a lot murkier than the path to the starting job at Notre Dame. Either way, he chose the Fighting Irish, which set off the weekend not to be great for Michigan, because fast forward to Sunday, and Michigan President Santa Ono releases a statement after, some whispers or alarm bells were being set off that he will be stepping down from his position as president at the University of Michigan to take the same role at the University of Florida. There are, again, rumors that Florida has tripled his salary. I can neither, deny nor confirm that at the time of this recording. There, of course, are going to be those who are, especially, by the way, those fans of that vile, disgusting cesspool in Columbus, who are going to say that Ono is leaving because of the hammer, and I say that with quotation fingers, dropping on Michigan. Of course, that's not what I believe. I do think that it is a myriad of factors, and not the least of which the lawsuit that was filed. 8 former university employees filed a lawsuit against the university alleging, wrongful termination because they were pro-Palestinian supporters, basically, that protested or demonstrated on campus and were terminated. Whether or not it was because of that is obviously up to the courts or whatever. But I believe that is the biggest factor in why Santa Ono is leaving or deciding to step down. And of course, if they're tripling your salary, let's be honest here. If they are going to pay triple what you make at Michigan, then that too makes the choice a lot easier. But talk to me in the comment section. What do you think about Javian Osborne choosing Notre Dame? What do you think about Santa Ono leaving? What about the prospects of the next president? One of the reasons that I dislike this move for Michigan is because Santa Ono is so pro sports at Michigan. He and Ward Manuel seem to have had a great working relationship. He obviously has been there to see through all the staff additions of Coach Moore. Sean McGee, who, by the way, is rumored to have a job opportunity elsewhere as well. Now, granted, he hasn't, announced anything about leaving yet or anything like that. But Sean McGee, Michigan's GM, who is basically getting this NIL thing all together for them, putting all the groundwork in, laying the infrastructure down, if you will. He was under Santa Ono's tenure at Michigan. Another point of note here is that Santa Ono becomes the shortest tenured Michigan president in over 2 centuries. By the way, the guy that had a similarly short tenure at Michigan was there for 5 years and left because he passed away. So there's that. It wasn't a great weekend for the Michigan Wolverines, no matter how you slice it. But in terms of the football program, but don't worry, fret not. There are possibilities of better days ahead. In fact, I'm sure that there will be better days ahead. And we're going to talk about that here next. With the loss of Javian Osborne, Michigan can focus most of, if not all of their attention at the running back position to Savian Haidider. Haidider, the number 1 running back in the country, number 1 player in the state of Virginia, rated 11 nationally by On3, a 5-star prospect out of Mineral, Virginia, is the number 1 running back on the Wolverines board. And obviously has interest in the Wolverines as he included them in his final group of 4, or at least those are the 4 that are going to get official visits from him. That list includes the other state, Georgia, and Tennessee as well. Right now, according to On3's recruiting prediction machine, the other state has the lead, but those things are fluid, if you will. And it would pit Michigan running back coach Tony Alford, former Ohio State running back coach, against his replacement at the other state, Carlos Lachlan, who was formerly at the same position at Oregon, in a heated race for the number 1 running back in the country. Georgia cannot be taken lightly in this, and Tennessee is also a real threat. But I think Michigan is in prime position to get this one closed. Again, they can't afford to lose both prospects. At a time, it was thought that Michigan was the leader for both of these guys. We know, at least with Javian Osborne, they were the leader for a short period. Notre Dame came in there late after Texas dropped out and was able to make some headway, enough headway, in fact, to flip that recruitment, if you will, on its head. Now, granted, he wasn't committed to Michigan, so they didn't flip him in that sense, but just to get him, to choose them over the Wolverines. In the case of Savian Haidider, though, Michigan has been considered the front runner at different points in this recruitment as well. Hopefully they can get back on that track and close this one out. Tony Alford really needs a recruitment like this, if I'm being honest, right? Jordan Marshall was recruited by his predecessor, Mike Hart. He did get Justice Haynes in the transfer portal, which to date, in my opinion, is his best win, his best get, and that just happened to be a transfer player. I am a huge fan of Jasper Parker. We've interviewed him right here on the channel. I think he's going to be a very, very good running back at Michigan. But according to the industry rankings, he wouldn't be ranked nearly as high as a Savian Haidider or even a Javian Osborne. So Tony Alford needs to win one of these types of recruitments. It's just that simple. Otherwise, it just looks like the biggest thing to celebrate about him is that that we were able to get him from the other state. And that's just not good enough. We need actual big wins on the recruiting trail. This will go a long way in doing that for him. Outside of Savian Haidider, though, Michigan hot on the trail for some other prospects, including quarterback Ryder Lions in the 2026 class. Now, granted, again, you've heard me talk about it on this channel ad nauseum. He is in the 2026 class, but he's more like a 2027 recruit because he will be taking a 1-year LDS mission. Michigan trying to lock in an OV with Ryder Lions. He's been to campus multiple times. However, USC, who has been on a heater on the recruiting trail, has really locked back in with Ryder Lions, whose brother attends USC. And it looks like they may be in the lead right now, but it's key for Michigan to get one of those official visits from Ryder Lions. In addition to Lions, Calvin Russell, the wide receiver out of Miami, is a 6'6", 195-pounder, 4-star, the 5th-ranked wide receiver in the country and the number 6 player in the state of Florida. Is also a guy to keep your eye on. Michigan needs to lock in an OV with him as well. His Michigan's newest member of the class, the quarterback anyway, Brady Schmeigel, has already been in contact with Calvin Russell. Hopefully that goes a long way in getting him on campus for an OV. We'll see what happens, though, with that. And, of course, in-state talent, two-way talent, CJ Sadler is another one to keep an eye on. I would be shocked if Michigan didn't get an OV from CJ, who's been on campus so many times it's hard to keep up with. But that's somebody that they need to lock in, and it is somebody that they want to build the fence around, right? You want to build the fence around Michigan. This guy is one of those guys, absolute stud, but they will have some competition from the likes of Colorado and others. So keep it locked to the channel for more updates regarding those guys. Talk to me in the comment section. What do you think about Michigan's prospects of landing a Calvin Russell, Savian Haidider, even a CJ Sadler? Let's talk about it. And be sure to check us out later tonight live as we welcome Dre Fame to the channel to interview him about Hellgate. If you don't know Dre Fame, he's one of the faces of Hellgate. He is all over the place. He's everywhere Michigan is, basically. And we're going to have a great time tonight talking to him about Michigan football and the future of Michigan football, all of that. He's got a podcast of his own that he's trying to get off the ground. We'll talk about all of that. Follow me everywhere at Maize Man. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Become a member if you haven't already, because we have exclusive members-only content, including the Avengers Assemble once a month. Be sure to become a member. And until next time, stay angry, my friends. I'm upset.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'ma calm down. Son, I just don't get down all that Mace and that lock and all that. I just don't get it, son,
Okay,
for real.
just calm
And how the